Here's a fun fact about me. I'm a very delusional person who still really wants a new Darkstalkers fighting game from Capcom in the 2020s. I don't think it will ever happen, but I believe it should. Well, at least the old games are on modern platforms and PC thanks to the Capcom Fighting Collection, so just pick that up if you want some Darkstalkers fun. Though if you don't want to set up multiplayer, you can always delve into a very underrated part of fighting games, the single-player content and lore. While the games only have the basic arcade mode ladders on the collection, with every character in Darkstalkers being so interesting yet distinct from one another, I thought it'd be fun if I went over every character in Darkstalkers 2 and ranked their arcade mode endings from worst to best to see what we could gather from such limited storytelling, and also fill in the Darkstalkers void in my heart. Why am I starting with Darkstalkers 2 and not 1? Well, Darkstalkers 2 is an expansion of 1, both in the mechanics, assets, and even storyline, to the point that all returning characters get the same ending when they complete arcade mode. They're basically the same game from a story perspective, but 2 has more stuff in it, so we're tackling that version. So, let's get into it. And the award to the worst arcade ending in the original Darkstalkers games goes to Lord Raptor, whose ending is very poorly communicated to me. Apparently, he's working for an emperor who wants his help to destroy the other Darkstalkers, but he plans to backstab that emperor as soon as he gains the new powers, which is fine if the dialogue was more flavorful to show his character, but it's not, so it's the worst of these. Rikyo is one of the more noble Darkstalkers, so his ending is a bit more typical for a fighting game despite his attractive fishman status. He finds another survivor of his race as the two decide to build the Lost Kingdom together. It's fine, but nothing too special. Hisenko's ending has her and her sister collapse from exhaustion after working hard to save their mother's soul from darkness, only for them to get reborn as twins for another family? I mean, it's a nice gesture from their mother as it's implied she did this, but the ending doesn't really tell me anything about Hisenko the person other than she's lived a tough life, which most characters of the Darkstalkers roster have, so she ain't special, she just got a second chance. Anakiris' ending is weird, because I initially thought it was a flashback to his past as a pharaoh, but it's actually him time-traveling after defeating Pyron to go help his people win a war and change history? I mean, that works and shows how dedicated he is to his people. So Sasquatch's ending is weird as hell as he sends a message to his fellow Bigfoot brothers that the humans are weak and that it's time to invade the world, even though, according to most manuals and lore things, these are normally peaceful creatures. I guess they just didn't have their bananas that day, okay. This one gets this high for the absurdity of it all. When Darkstalkers started out, Dimitri was the proposed protagonist of the series, and his arcade ending highlights the key things that make Darkstalkers different from the rest. Specifically, that these aren't pure-hearted heroes, they're creatures of the night who feed on their dark impulses and do bad things, as seen with Dimitri drinking blood, declaring he's gonna take over the world with the big boss Pyron defeated, and sleeping with white women. Solid characterization for the bastard. Bishimon's arcade ending has the cursed swordsman being freed from the evil armor and going on with his wife to become monks in Japan, traveling around, finally being brought to peace after so much strife. This is a well-done, somber little tale, though it's hampered by the fact that we don't get to see the armor being separated from its host. Huitzel's ending is simple but effectively menacing, as he calls up his Robo-Bros to destroy the rest of the Earth. That last shot specifically of all the robots lined up ready to start killing really makes the ending stand out to me as one of the scarier ones. With Pyron being the big final boss of the game, naturally his ending would be a bad one for nearly everyone involved, as he absorbs the Earth and uses it as a fancy ring for his finger like the other planets he's taken over, which is a crazy cosmic visual, but also Pyron's goofy, satisfying grin really lightens the mood to make this not as horrifying as it would be in real life. Felicia's arcade ending is all about how successful her showbiz career is going after putting in all that hard work throughout her life, while providing some cheeky fan service as she lounges in a bathtub. Much like the character herself, it's cute and charming. It's time for that special gal who outlived her own series, Morgan Island. Morgan's ending has her kissing Pyron to death as she tells her to dream of him, which yes is hot and stuff, but this ending also shows Morgan's goofier side, as we see her servants cover up for her doings in the human world before giving a literal wink to the camera. It's what you expect from a playful succubus like her, but it's quite enjoyable nevertheless. Alright, it's time for John Talbane, and his ending is so charming. This wolfman has the biggest grin on his dumb little face after he's cleared the intense fights of the arcade ladder and finally gets to become a human. I love the bravado and sheer delight both versions of John are drawn with here, and it's a legitimately heartwarming ending. Victor's ending sees him wanting acceptance from his creator now that he saved the world, not realizing that he already passed away due to a bunch of angry villagers. In fact, Victor's motivation for fighting in the first place has to do with not understanding understanding life and death, as he believes his creator's corpse is actually him being disapproving of him. However, what's either the professor's daughter or another creation of his comes to tell Victor to be happy for himself for what he accomplished, as the two celebrate their victory for now before planning their future tomorrow. It combines the tragedy of a monster like Frankenstein with a hope for the future an arcade ending normally provides in a fighting game. Great stuff. There was no other option for number 1 on this ranking of the best Darkstalkers arcade endings. It's Donovan. The half-vampire, half-human warrior has been through a lot in his lifetime, losing so many to his dark vampiric side to the point of vehemently hating the entire Darkstalkers roster. However, his main goal throughout the game is to help a young girl named Anita regain her emotions and control the supernatural power she has underneath. Donovan ultimately succeeds at helping Anita at the cost of fully losing control of his dark half. While Anita gets to be free with a bright, healthy future ahead, Donovan loses his way. This is already a tragic but fascinating tale on its own, but it's made even better by some additional content found in the PS2 Darkstalkers collection. There, you can play as an evil repaint of Donovan known as D, and at the end of his arcade ladder, you encounter an older Anita, but then the screen cuts to black. There's no fight to be had. And that was the last official story content Darkstalkers ever got in the video games, but hey, if we get no more arcade endings or stories from this series, it's a damn fine way to finish everything. The storytelling of Darkstalkers is a lot of things. It can be spooky, funny, seductive, tragic, and more. This series is so versatile with its tone that I'm sure at least one of these characters' ending stories can stick with you as a neat tale. And it was a lot of fun to revisit these arcade endings, so let me know if there's any other fighting games with cool stories or endings that you want me to take a look at and rank in the future. Even if this video bombs, I do want to do Darkstalkers 3 in the future because the world needs more Darkstalkers in it.